U.S. history students, welcome to another review session brought to you by Lynx Education. This is Lynn, your online U.S. history teacher. Today we will cover chapters 26 and 27 about the Civil Rights Movement. Come, let's start. And as usual, we're doing our millionaire game. Let's find out the first question. The 1954 Brown versus Topeka Board of Education decision resulted in which of the following? A. The creation of white citizen councils through the Deep South. B. The rapid desegregation of the schools throughout the U.S. Of course, that didn't happen. And C. The passage of the Civil Rights Act. So we had this in 1964. Definitely this is not the answer. D. The Montgomery bus boycott. So this is another issue that's related to the civil rights movement. Our answer here is A. So the immediate creation of the White Citizens Council throughout the Deep South, for they refused to accept the decision of the Supreme Court when it comes to desegregation. Let's look at the next question. You guys are ready? Which of the following was not a central reason for the rise of the civil rights movement? A. The legacy of World War II. Definitely yes, that's one of the reasons why we had a civil rights movement after World War II. Okay, so they tried to end racism abroad and they were successful on that. And they want to do the same thing in the United States. Next, the rise of an urban black middle class. C. Deindustrialization. Or D. Television and other forms of popular culture. Now, B and D, they're all related to the civil rights movement, except for C. Moving on. Which generalization can most accurately be drawn? Study of the Supreme Court cases Plessy versus Ferguson and Brown versus Board of Education. A. The Supreme Court has issued consistent decisions in cases involving rights of the accused, obviously not because the decision for Plessy and the Brown had really different outcome. B. Supreme Court decisions are accepted without public controversy. Definitely true. Okay, we had issues about that. C. The justices believe that social issues are best left for state courts to decide. Nope. And D. The Supreme Court has helped to determine the public policy, and this is what the Supreme Court is doing. Okay, they made decisions and they determine the public policy. Moving on to the fourth question. Get ready with this. President Eisenhower's domestic strategy of modern republicanism advocated A. Acceptance of the existing New Deal programs. B. Increasing military spending. C. A continuation of McCarthyism. Or D. The support of civil rights activism. And so this is his domestic policy. It's related to A. The acceptance of existing New Deal program. If you are not familiar with the modern republicanism, I highly suggest that you go back to that part in your book. Alright, the Soviet Union's launching of Sputnik in 1957 immediately led to A. An increasing of USSR tensions. B. Massive federal aid to American higher education. C. The Geneva Summit's endorsement of open skies. D. The U-2 incident. So the immediate result of this was B. The massive federal aid support of Eisenhower to improve American higher education. Alright, let's look at this. The 1956 boycott of the Montgomery bus system, A, was led by Malcolm X. B, started because the city doubled bus fares. C, was integrated by the arrest of Rosa Parks. And D, lasted for 3 weeks and failed to achieve its goal. So this one was successful, and it was due to the arrest of Rosa Parks. Our answer is C. Ready for this one? The Civil Rights Act of 1964 accomplished all except A, barring racial discrimination in public hotels. B, outlawing discriminatory employment practices. Sorry for that. C, barring racial discrimination in restaurants. D, outlawing literacy tests used to prevent citizens from voting. And our answer is D. Okay, so this one is related to the Voting Rights Act. Alright, a few more questions to go. About a half. When necessary to achieve justice, which method did Martin Luther King Jr. urge his followers to employ? So you should be able to really know the strategy here. So A, using violence to bring about political change. Not this one. B, engaging in civil disobedience. Yes. C, leaving any community in which racism is practiced. Yeah, no. D, demanding that Congress pay reparations to African Americans. Our answer here is B. This is the nonviolent protest. Alright, next question. The federal voting rights laws passed in the 1950s and 1960s were designed to A, return control of voting regulations to the states. Not. B, remove racial barriers to voting. C, extend suffrage to American women. D, prevent recent immigrants from voting. Alright, so the women were already voting in the 1920s, so this is not our answer. In the 1950s and 1960s, that was a civil rights movement. And this one's related to B, remove racial barriers to voting. Alright, 4 more questions to go. Hang on, sit still, and finish all these questions. Lunch counter sit-ins and the actions of freedom riders are examples of A, steps taken in support of the Americans with Disabilities Act. No. B, programs dealing with affirmative action. C, violent acts by the Black Panthers. Or D, the nonviolent attempts to oppose segregation. Yeah, these were the strategies that's related to the nonviolent movement. Alright. If you're still there, you make it here. No worries. 3 more questions. The chief objective of President Lyndon Johnson's Great Society program was to. So another domestic policy here with the LBJ. A, increase foreign aid to developing nations. B, correct environmental pollution. C, help the disadvantaged in the United States. And D, unite democratic nations and contain communism. So this one, the Great Society program, that's actually a continuation of the New Deal that supported the disadvantaged ones, so primarily focus on ending poverty, and our answer is C. Alright, we're almost there. President Kennedy's main goal in the United States 1962 decision to blockade Cuba was to A, encourage Castro to reopen diplomatic relations with the United States. B, use the CIA to overthrow the Castro government forcibly. C. Encouraged the Soviet Union to stop sending soldiers and aid to Castro. D. Forced the Soviet Union to remove its missiles from Cuba. So if you ever remember the Cuban Missile Crisis, yes, this is it, and our answer is D. Yeah, hey, we're headed to the last question. In what southern city was Rosa Parks arrested in 1955? And a young Baptist pastor named Martin Luther King Jr. came to the fore. Alright, so our answer here is, of course, in Montgomery, Alabama. Okay, we made it. So make sure to review consistently, guys, in order to answer these questions. I hope that you learned something again today. Do not forget to share and subscribe to my channel, Lynx Education. I'll see you guys in the next review session.